Without a doubt the most famous name in American architecture history, Frank Lloyd Wright designed everything from houses, churches, and schools to skyscrapers, hotels, and museums. We take a stroll through his 70-plus years of designing through the 1800s and 1900s. I'm Glenn, and here are 15 iconic and beautiful building designs by the architectural legend himself, Frank Lloyd Wright. Frank Lloyd Wright was born in Richland Center, Wisconsin back in 1867. After attending the Prairie School of Architecture, Wright began working as an apprentice at the firm of Adler and Sullivan. It was here that he would work directly under the father of skyscrapers himself, Louis Sullivan. Wright worked under Sullivan until 1893, when the two parted ways after the apprentice began accepting private commissions. Wright carried Sullivan's dream to develop a unique style of American architecture with him as he founded his own firm. Over the next 70 or so years, Wright did exactly that, becoming the pioneer of what would be referred to as the Prairie School movement. He strongly believed that buildings should be designed to harmonize with humanity and the natural world, which he dubbed organic architecture. Let's check out some of Wright's best examples.
Number 15.
Starting off with perhaps Wright's most famous, or at least most lauded work, Falling Water. Wright designed this picturesque house in 1935, with the building completed 3 years later. Falling Water was designed specifically for his friend Edgar Kaufman, who had requested Wright build him a family holiday home facing the Bear Run Nature Reserve waterfall. Wright went one better and actually designed it around the 30-foot landmark after spotting a rock that jutted out over the top of the flowing water. What we are left with is a 3-story home that is built around the rock edges and blended with a color palette to match its surroundings, becoming part of the natural scene.
Number 14.
Many consider the Graycliff grounds and buildings to be one of the most ambitious summer estates Frank Lloyd Wright ever took on. It was built in 1927 and was eventually dubbed the Jewel on the Lake due to its beauty and perch on a cliff above Lake Erie near Buffalo. The estate covers 3.5 acres of ground with 3 separate structures, as well as the gardens themselves being designed by Wright. Wright remained friends with the family who commissioned the build, the Martins, some 20 years after finishing the design. After the Martins passed away in 1951, the estate was bought by a Roman Catholic teaching order and turned into a boarding school. The residence is now a public museum after being restored to the original design in 1997.
Number 13.
Sticking in Buffalo, next up, we have one of the earliest examples of Wright's prairie style in the Darwin Martin House. The original design was completed in 1903, just a year after Darwin Martin's brother had commissioned Wright to design a house of his own. In fact, Darwin Martin contacted Wright after seeing the quality and beauty of his brother's home. Wright was given a large corner lot to design and build the Darwin Martin House, and it is fair to say that he didn't like waste. The main Martin house eventually covered almost every inch of the given land, along with a 100-foot-long pergola connecting the house to a conservatory, a carriage house with stables, the Barton House, and eventually a gardener's cottage. The Barton House was constructed for Martin's sister and her husband. The gardener's cottage rounded off the build in 1909.
Number 12.
One of the most instantly recognizable museums in the world, the New York Guggenheim Museum, is a true work of art. Upon entering the grand white building, visitors can gaze up the full 92 feet to the glass dome at the very top of the building. Between the floor and the dome, 6 stories worth of art and exhibits flow into one, with a continuous ramp spanning more than 1/4 of a mile all the way to the top. However, the eye-catching structure did come with some controversy, as it led to 21 artists signing a letter of protest against the design. They claimed that the curvature of the walls made it extremely difficult to hang their paintings in the way they were intended. Some also claimed that the building itself was trying to compete artistically with the works it should be showing off. The museum was the final major project built and designed by Wright, with it eventually opening 6 months after his death in 1959.
Number 11.
Completed in 1959 and located in Elkins Park, Philadelphia, the Beth Sholom Congregation Building was the only synagogue Wright ever designed. It is said that he wanted people to see the structure like a luminous Mount Sinai, hence its fiberglass pyramid appearance. Among the low office buildings and hedges around Elkins Park, the building reaches for the stars and certainly catches the eye of any passerby. The build came about after Rabbi Mortimer J. Cohen wrote to Wright before guiding him through the design process with insights into Jewish rituals, symbols, and theology. In the daytime, the building is illuminated by natural sunlight, while at night, it shines blue and gold fluorescent light into the sky. It was named a National Historic Landmark in 2007.
Number 10.
The Child of the Sun is also known as the Florida Southern College Architectural District and was built by Wright between 1941 and 1958. Over 20 years, Wright enjoyed a fantastic relationship with the visionary president of the college, Dr. Lud Muriel Spivey, as well as the college itself. The Child of the Sun was originally supposed to comprise of a 20-structure academic village, although only half of the project was ever completed. Despite this, it still remains the largest single-site collection of architecture by Wright in the world. It was named as a National Historic Landmark in 2012.
Number 9.
The Avery Coonley House was built between 1908 and 1912, with Frank Lloyd Wright himself labeling it as one of his best ever works. The residence is located on the banks of the Des Plaines River in Illinois, sat on a unique little peninsula. The Avery Coonley House is actually a National Historic Landmark within a National Historic Landmark, as it resides within the Riverside Historic District. The low-hanging ceilings, long flat eaves, and art glass windows encapsulate some of the iconic fixtures of Wright's prairie style. The estate includes the four-wing main residence, stable coach house, gardener's cottage, and raised and sunken gardens by the landscape architect Jens Jensen. The house had been on and off the market for nearly a decade, originally listed at $2.89 million, but finally sold for $1.15 million in February of 2019.
Number 8.
For Frank Lloyd Wright's first family home, the young architect approached Louis Sullivan for $5,000 after signing a 5-year employment contract with Adler & Sullivan to fund the project. He wanted to build a house in the Oak Park suburb of Chicago for him and his wife Catherine to raise a family in. The original home was designed in 1889 and featured a simple shingle-style 3-bedroom house. However, the Wright family would go on to live here for 20 more years, and Frank kept adding to the design as time went by. What this has created is an embodiment of Wright's design and style developments through the entirety of his early career.
Number 7.
This Civic Center was an especially important design from Frank Lloyd Wright, as he won the right to be lead architect out of hope he could create a building that represented a government that was open to the people. To achieve this welcoming and community feel, Wright didn't stop at the building exterior, as he went on to design every door, every sign, and every single piece of furniture. The project was approved in 1958, but unfortunately, groundbreaking did not commence until after Wright's death, with his protege and son-in-law both continuing the construction in his absence. Wright claimed the Marin County natural landscape was among the most beautiful he had ever seen, something he tried to capture and take advantage of in the design.
Number 6.
The first Unitarian Society commissioned Wright in 1946 to design a meeting house in Madison, Wisconsin. It was fully built by 1951 and was hailed as one of the most innovative examples of church design in history. It has since been designated a U.S. National Historic Landmark, and with 1,500-plus members, it is one of the biggest Unitarian congregations across the entirety of the United States. It isn't hard to see why this piece of architecture is so lauded either, with its elegant use of smooth golden brown wood and large glass windows emphasizing natural light. The fact it is still so heavily used, and even added to today, is a true testament to the beauty of the original design.
Number 5.
One of the smallest Frank Lloyd Wright projects, the Seth Peterson Cottage, covers just 880 square feet of living space. It was designed in 1958 and encapsulates everything Wright believed in about using natural beauty to enhance design. Using a mixture of wood and local sandstone, the tiny house blends nicely into its surroundings on the edge of a steep woodland hill next to Mirror Lake. Unfortunately, Seth Peterson took his own life before a then 90-year-old Wright completed the project. The state of Wisconsin bought the cottage in 1966 and boarded it up for preservation until the Seth Peterson Cottage Conservancy was formed in 1989. This group now holds a renewable lease to rehabilitate and operate the Wright House.
Number 4.
This next design is a fantastic example of Wright's late career rounded style, something we have already gazed upon in the Guggenheim Museum. This home, dubbed the Spiraling House, features a circular design in order to capture the wind and cool the building. It was created for Frank's son David and his wife Gladys and was built in Phoenix, Arizona. The structure covers 2,500 square feet and features a spiral walkway, kitchen tower, roof terrace, plunge pool, and shaded garden. Even the internal furniture echoes the circular theme, including the signature March Balloons carpet design by Wright himself. David and Gladys lived in the house until their deaths, with it currently being on sale for $12.9 million, after changing hands repeatedly through the years.
Number 3.
Perhaps one of the most picturesque Wright designs of the lot, the Norman Lykes house, is an architectural masterclass in how to use natural beauty in building. Designed in 1959, just before his death, the late career round style can be seen yet again in this Wright project. The house is built into the side of a mountain in Phoenix and offers a breathtaking view of the Palm Canyon from every single room. The building is made of concentric circles and cylinders, specifically designed to sit upon the uneven and rocky mountain surface. The original design depicted a 2-story family home with 5 bedrooms and 3 bathrooms and was built for Norman and Amy Lykes. Outstanding beauty both inside and out. It's no wonder this hit the market for $3.25 million in 2018.
Number 2.
The Hollyhock House was influenced by 7th century Mayan temples as Wright shifted away from his known prairie style in 1919. This is one of the first examples of the Mayan revival movement predominantly seen in the 1920s and 30s. The project was commissioned by Louise Aline Barnstall, an oil heiress who wanted an avant-garde theater and cultural complex. However, only the main residence and 2 apartments were ever finished. Wright was eventually fired from the project after artistic differences, and Barnstall donated the residence to the city of Los Angeles in memory of her father in 1927. It fell into disrepair before a restoration project began in the early 2000s, and it was eventually reopened to the public in 2015. It is now part of the Barnstall Art Park Foundation.
Number 1.
If you thought the Hollyhock House looked like a Mayan temple, wait until you see this. The house was created using 27,000 separate interlocking decorated concrete blocks, covering 5,500 square feet. It was designed in 1924 for Charles and Mabel Ennis, hitting the National Register for Historic Places in 1971. The Ennis House is just as grand on the inside as it is on the out, and that is largely thanks to billionaire Ron Burkle. Burkle bought the building in 2007 after it had been listed as a most at-risk structure since a 1994 earthquake. Burkle is said to have spent $17 million on restoring the house to Wright's original vision. The house has been featured in Hollywood blockbusters such as Blade Runner and is now on the market for $23 million. The smallest structure ever designed by Wright came about after 12-year-old Jim Berger was worried about his dog Eddie staying outside in the winter. Wright had previously designed the Berger's house and planned for the doghouse to match it. Designs were completed in 1957, and it was built in 1963. After being thrown away in 1973, Jim and his brother Eric rebuilt it from the original plans in 2010 for a documentary. And there we have it, 15 iconic and beautiful designs by America's most famous architect, Frank Lloyd Wright. Which one was your favorite? Let us know in the comments below. And feel free to suggest your favorite architects too, and maybe you'll see them in a future video.
Hey guys, this is Cassie. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Tell us in the comments below what you found to be the most interesting and why. Also, if you haven't done so yet, make sure to hit the bell notification next to the subscribe button to stay up to date with all of our latest videos. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys next time.